Talking with the experts.
Hear Prima Jope's touching story of starting as a coach to save her mother and how she built a legacy coaching business in episode 528.
And if you don't release yourself and say, I can do this, that person will forever be chained by you. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have built this brand if Nick hadn't stepped on stage and said, look at me, no arms, no legs. What gives me the permission to change lives? Nothing. So I don't care what's in your head that is telling you that you can't do this. You sure can. And for me, I really want to tell people that there is something about you that will make a difference in another person's life just because of how imperfect you are. Just like people might hear me now speaking from Uganda and with all of this conviction and go, is she doing it from Uganda? If she's doing it from Uganda, I think I need to give myself a chance to do it.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem-solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is all about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today, my guest is Prima Jope, and Prima's going to be talking to us about how she started her coaching business and how you too can learn how to love your business as much as she loves hers. Now, Prima is the founder of Expert to Millions and is on a mission to transform female experts into legendary coaches with enduring legacies. This isn't about competing in saturated markets or slapping price tags on generic services. Prima weaves the fabric of legacy brands, doing the rare custom work that elevates your brand into a league of its own. This is about impact, deep, meaningful impact that withstands the test of time. And so it's my very great pleasure to introduce you to Prima. Welcome, Prima. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Liz, for having me. That was quite an introduction.
I am interested to know how you learned to become a coach, why you are passionate about what you do, and how you can give advice to others that maybe want to follow your path.
The truth is, I didn't decide to become a coach. I didn't wake up and the stars lined up and I had all the expertise in my bone marrow and I said, it's time to be an expert and a coach. The truth is, my bricks and mortar closed down in 2020 due to the pandemic, and I was out of business. And in that time, I struggled to pivot that online because in Uganda, everything is literally cash, bricks and mortar. People still struggle to use their credit cards. And so as I was in that mix, I had started understanding that there's this thing called online business, but I didn't really know how to get this, like the styling advice I was giving offline into something online that people could listen to, because I don't understand the winters and the summers and the autumns of whatever you guys talk about. It is summer for us, Jan to December. And so as I was going around talking about fashion, people really didn't care, and the Ugandans who cared couldn't buy it online. They wanted to walk in. And so I recall one day my mom got COVID. We had no money. I had been swinging myself online, having no direction. My brother calls. My brother is a medical doctor. He calls and says, hey, y'all, we need money right now. Otherwise, this may be the last time you hear about mom. Mom is diabetic. She has high blood pressure. She's been a mentor for over 20 years. And we regard her as like an elderly now because of the meds. And so in COVID, the medics would tell you that your patient is a red case, as in we do not know that she will make it, but chances are she wouldn't. So my brother puts us in a room and says, you guys, the only thing that can save mom right now is money. We need money and we need a lot of it and we need it right now. Now, what happened is, unfortunately, my mom couldn't get into the hospitals because they were full, and she was like an ICU kind of person. She had to go to ICU. So my brother takes her back home, and literally we have to construct an ICU within a week and save mom. And then he says, go. Everyone needs to find money. I don't care who you ask. I don't care what charity you run. It's either that or we just have to live knowing that mom died and we couldn't save her because we all didn't have money. Now, the most painful part is mom raised 8 kids all by herself with my dad, with no external help, and she kind of managed that. She paid our school fees, got us land and everything, and she didn't make much. Now, for us 8 kids to fail to like help one person, it is not something you can recover from long time. And so for me, I didn't want my mom's death to be on my name that I didn't have money. And so I got desperate. I said, there must be a way somebody can pay me for some kind of help, some kind of advice, some kind of something, some kind of service. And so I started getting people in Zoom rooms and talking to them to really find out what could I do to help them and what would they be willing to pay. It just so happens that the one first lady I brought into the Zoom room had a problem selling her $5,000 product. She was a network marketer. And so she was having issues marketing and promoting her product. I saw her VSL. I understood that because offline I marketed and sold my own things. I was doing like high-end luxury fashion. And so I understood how to sell a luxury item if it was like valuable. And so I looked at her and I said, you're selling the wrong thing. You're selling the thing, but people really, what they want is the dream. It's the life. It's the freedom. I think if you moved away from selling this thing and what you get and to what people really want, which is the freedom, the time with family, more people would buy it. And then she asked me, how would you sell it? And then I turned around and pitched the offer. She looked at me and said, I would buy it if you sold it like that. I said, yeah, you just have to sell the right thing. I didn't think much of it at the moment, but then she turned around and said, do you charge for coaching? I was like, what? Like, I was shocked because I didn't have a coaching program, didn't have a price, didn't know what to do. I was just trying to save my mother. I looked straight in the face and said, yes, I have a coaching. Straight face. Now, Rose, I tell you, most people would get hired if they would learn the art of holding a straight face when they said their price. I looked at her and said, yes, I offer coaching. I had no idea where to start. She asked me again, how much do you charge? I looked her straight in the face and said $2,000. And that was it. The next question was, do you take PayPal? I became a coach that day. I crowned myself coach that day. And I have never stopped coaching hundreds of clients, multiple 6 figures. And here we are. Everything I know is from the school of hard knocks. So if you feel called to coach, if you have any reason whatsoever why you need to step in and help somebody, if you have a skill that people can use, I would say just start. Just start.
Intriguing.
Yeah, you have an expertise that somebody else needs, and you just have to say, I can help you with this. Who needs it? Just have to start.
So I guess, that is an absolute perfect way to start, is just dive in and do it. And if people want to keep paying for what you have to offer, I mean, that's the way to do it, and paying for the end result rather than the widget thing that you're selling, I think, and paying for the outcome and selling it as that way, then people will probably be more interested, as you said, because, you buy a dress, it's not really the dress you're buying, it's how you feel when you're wearing that dress, and how it makes you feel when you've got that dress on. So I really do get that. And that's a fabulous way of putting it. Now, I guess I need to ask, how is your mother now? Hope she's recovered.
Mom is very fine. My dad passed 2 years ago, but mom is very fine, stronger than ever. And we are pouring everything we can into her. The reason I'm here is because I never want to see my mom in that situation where she needs medical care but can't get it because I can't afford to pay it. Like, it's not something I can't forgive myself for. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think your heart's in the right place, and I'm glad that she survived the COVID and that she's doing well. Prima, how can coaches, I guess, or people who want to get into coaching, how can they find that potential? How can they find that motivation? How can they find the meaning of being less than mediocre?
I think you will be a mediocre until you decide you don't want to be. For me, I recall coming from Uganda. If you know Uganda at all, it's very well known for poverty, and people don't have water and they don't have food, and oh my God, help Uganda. Every time I've heard someone talk about Uganda, it was about the starving children and we need to help them. And, there is nearly nothing good can come of this country. And so I had those feelings starting out. I had that imposter syndrome starting out. And I always wondered, who really wants to hear about me coming from a country like this? And my target market when I started online wasn't even Uganda, because nobody could buy this stuff. And so I was like, why would somebody in New York City want to take advice from me, someone who comes from a place where electricity and power is not even guaranteed? And so for me, I really struggled with that bit. But then I realized that there is skills I had that were like first language to me, like marketing and sales is first language to me. But most people, it is not. Like, people really appreciate when you bring what you have to the table, but it really takes the decision that you have something that people need to be able to step out. I recall I was having these feelings of not being enough, and I was listening to motivation. I listened to Tony Robbins, and I listened to Oprah, and I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk, and I listened to everyone that was talking about how to step up and be a personal brand and make an impact. And all these people were telling me I can do it, but inside me, I was like, I don't know. These people don't know I come from Africa. They don't understand Uganda and blah, blah, blah. And then I recall going on YouTube, and my sister sent me a YouTube clip of a gentleman called Nick. Now, Nick is the founder of Life Without Limb Ministries. Nick has no arms. Nick has no legs. Nick is a perfect example of somebody that has no proof that anything is possible. He's just a man with no arms, no limbs, as short as I don't know my arm. I look at this guy, and he was making waves. He had a stage of thousands of people, and he was making an impact. And he said, whether you can or can't, you're right. But you have to make the decision. Can you or can't you? When I looked at Nick, he was the perfect example of there is nothing on this man that shows that he can do what I can't do. And here he is impacting the world, having thousands and thousands of people. If Nick can do it, I can do it. And so my message really is, sometimes there is one person in this world that only you can impact. And if you don't release yourself and say, I can do this, that person will forever be chained by you. I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have built this brand if Nick hadn't stepped on stage and said, look at me, no arms, no legs. What gives me the permission to change lives? Nothing. So I don't care what's in your head that is telling you that you can't do this. You sure can. And for me, I really want to tell people that there is something about you that will make a difference in another person's life just because of how imperfect you are. Just like people might hear me now speaking from Uganda and with all of this conviction and go, Is she doing it from Uganda? If she's doing it from Uganda, I think I need to give myself a chance to do it. So it really doesn't matter what your circumstance is. It doesn't matter what you think you can or can't do. But the moment you hold yourself back and don't start, really there is somebody you're caving. There's somebody whose life depends on you stepping up. And if you don't step up, you need to be okay dying knowing that there is people in this world who did not get a chance because you didn't speak up or step up or decide that your message mattered and you had something to contribute to the world.
Great advice. I love that. I think that's a very powerful statement that you've made, that that you just need to step up. You need to change the way you think about the world. You need to change the way you think about yourself. And yes, I've seen Nick's videos, and I think they are very powerful. He preaches to the converted. Basically, he's just a wonderful human being who has a lot to offer and gives great advice about moving forward in life. Prima, I guess how can, as a coach, and I'm not really sure if you like to label your coaching business. Are you a motivational coach or a business coach, or what type of coaching do you give to your clients?
I'm a business coach. I particularly work with experts who are looking to pivot to coaching or consulting, but I also work with people who are already doing coaching and consulting, but are not having fun or not profitable. Mainly people just overcomplicate it. Mainly people overthink it. And mainly people worry about things that don't matter. There's coaches and consultants that are measuring in minor things. And so what I really do with them is we slash off all of the fancy things and we get to the profit. And once you're creating profit, now you can add the friction. There's people worrying about all these things that don't really matter before you sign up a client. There's so many things people worry about, the website, and I don't know how many social media platforms, and the microphone, and all of these things. But really, when you take the tech away, you have a gift that somebody else needs. And coaching is the place where you can come and sign up a client today, sit on Zoom and start serving them without any of those things. And so I find that coaches have a way of getting stuck in their head, or experts have a way of getting stuck to the head. Should I do coaching, or should I do consulting, or should I do memberships, or should I do masterminds, or should I do retreats? Okay. And then should I use a weband? Should I use this thing? And should I use this thing? Like, cut it loose and get to the service. Because nothing matters if nobody's paying you. Nothing matters if you're not helping someone. And I like to really encourage experts to stop thinking and start doing. Because most of the times, I like to say that the clarity you're looking for in thinking, in planning, in strategizing is hidden in the action that you're not taking. Sometimes you have to take the first step before you see the second step. If I never signed up that lady, I would never have known that I can or can't coach. I signed her up, and now I began to find out, okay, how do they do coaching? Who has that to teach me? Okay, how do they do this? How do they do this? I started to kind of solve problems as they came, and that's how I ended up knowing how to coach, how to not lose my sanity when I coach, how to get my clients results, how to get paid what I'm worth, how to actually be valuable to people. But if I had sat on paper and started, who is my ideal avatar, and which platform am I going to use, and what is my website, and what is my message, I couldn't have done it. So really, for me, what I can say is get out of your head. Just understand what skill you have that people don't, and start saying, I can help you with this. And sell one-to-one coaching to start with. Because one-to-one coaching, you can deliver as you go. You can deliver as you go. But the thing that I want to discourage people to do is get out of your head. Most people are too close to their own skill that they undermine it. Whatever it is you've been through, just present that as something you can do for people. And when somebody says, I want it, help me. Now let's figure out the rest of the boxes. But if you sit on paper and you strategize and plan and plot and get your one word, and I don't know your one avatar, and what size they are, and where they're from, and how old they are, you will do that, and you will create problems that don't happen, and you will not move. And in coaching, it's very hard. It's very easy to just not do it. it's very easy not to get profitable. It is very easy to really get busy that nothing happens. To make money in this business, you have to move. You have to fail. You have to learn from those mistakes, and you have to just get better. I would really urge people to get in action, because everything you're looking for is hidden in the steps you're not taking. So get in motion and fix things as you go.
Great advice. Yes. So for all of those people out there who have something, a skill, an expertise that they can offer other people, do what Prima did and just do it. And figure out the details as you go. I can't remember. Someone said, just jump in and figure out the details later. I can't see, that's paraphrasing, but it was very similar to that. And I think that's really great advice. And you did just exactly that, Prima. We said that you jumped in and figured out the details as you went along. And so that allowed for you to build a successful business because you weren't stuck in the details before. And I think that's where people become unstuck, is because, as you quite rightly said, they put all the details down on paper and then they have their to-do box and, they tick off all these things that they need to do. And so they are losing clients, and they're not coaching those people that need the help that you can offer them because they're too busy working out the details first rather than just jumping in and offering their expertise. So well done to you for building such a great business, and, for doing what you did and how you did it is very brave, I think.
I honestly think the fear of not getting it right is killing more businesses than the consequences of doing it wrong. Like, most people on paper talking themselves out of the very ideas that would be excellent. But they look at it on paper and they go, no, this won't work. And you won't know what will work until you put it out there. So just get out there and don't worry about it. It'll be fine. No one has died from taking imperfect action. You won't be the first.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches do it the way you've explained, that they get their clients to map out all these details first, and then so the client becomes so overwhelmed with all the detail that they get stuck and they get they don't move forward because they don't really know how to, because you're right, they too frightened of making a mistake if they don't follow the steps directly as their coach has suggested. So I think that that's really important, that you sometimes just have to take a step back and realise that you have what it takes to be able to move your business, coaching business forward. If you don't necessarily have to follow the steps as they've been laid out for you.
You don't. Everyone's journey is different. I want to give people permission to just step up and coach and not worry about a certification or whatever paper. And that's why I haven't certified, because I want to show people that it's not that. It's not the paperwork. It's not that. It is, can you help someone? Can you create a result? Can you create a case study? That's all that matters. When people pay me, I say, what is it that you need right now to get momentum? Is it a customer? Is it leads? Is it, because it is very easy for me to get people overwhelmed and go, what's your story? And what's your copy? And well, really, people need momentum. The moment you don't have momentum, you will quit. And momentum comes from action. Momentum comes from winning. Momentum comes from some leads coming into the business. And so if you sign up people and you overwhelm them with all these things which are good, they will quit on you. When people hire me now, our first month is, how do we make sure we get you in momentum? How do we get you winning? How do we get winning in that structure that is not perfect? And then build it later, because 3 months later, if you're busy building the foundation, the customer will be out of the door. It's like you pay for a weight loss program, they better show you something in the first 30 days. Otherwise, I don't really care how good your program is. If I need to go through it for a year to see 1 pound off, I'm not going to make it. That is why when you buy weight loss things, usually there's a way they give you a quick win to show you that this is possible. And then they go, now we need to build long-term runway. And that is what I tell my people when they come and they're like, people are leaving. I'm like, yeah, they're leaving because you are giving them things they don't need. People need a win, and it doesn't matter what you have to prepare. It doesn't matter what systems you have them build. It doesn't matter how prepared you get them. If they are not winning, it's just a matter of time and they are out. So first give them the proof that they can win and then make it right later. Does that make sense? Like first get them the results and then work backwards to build the systems. Most people are very busy trying to do the right thing at the wrong time. If you're trying to strategize and put on paper and get everything right, that's not wrong. But what will kill you is the lack of momentum. 12 months later, if nobody's paying you, it doesn't matter what funnels you built. It doesn't matter what email campaign you have. It doesn't matter how beautiful your things look. If 12 months later, no one is paying you to coach them, the momentum will die off, and momentum will get you out of business faster than mistakes will. And so my advice really is get in motion, start working, and make it better. Make the funnel better later. Make the copy, like, simplify it, get clients in the door, start working on that momentum and build slowly when you're already in momentum. The moment you don't get yourself in momentum, you will get yourself out of business, if I can say that. And so focus on getting the momentum. And the momentum is knowing I can solve this problem and I am in the world to look for the person who wants that and can pay for that. Get some people in the door. It won't be perfect, and that is okay. Make it better as you go. Make it better as you go. The lessons in the doing are much better than all of the lessons you're trying to get from the school of whatever qualification or from whatever course, whatever events. Nobody's going to show you how to do your thing. You have to start doing it to get better. It's like having a child. You have to be a better mother, not by preparing and reading books, but by literally walking the child through their life. That's how you become a better mother, not because every one of your friends has called you, visited you, you've gone to this conference, and you've gone to world-class parenting class. Yes, that's good, but the theory, you come on ground and there's this little baby who can't even tell you when they're in pain, and now you have to figure that out. One baby, second baby, by the time you're 5 babies, you know what, you are an expert. Why? Because of that school of hard knocks. It's the best teacher. Even though people tend to want the other way, I tend to really think this is the best teacher. Do a thing, get better. And don't worry about the mess. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything. And you've got a recent training that you've created, the 3 steps to turn your expertise into high value coaching. Could you explain about that, please?
It's the 3 steps you can take today to get the expertise you have in your head and turn it into coaching that people can pay you for. It's on the website and people can just get it when they go to primajope.com. It's like the first or second thing on the website. It's just, wonderful. What are the steps I need to take today to get out of my head and start getting clients?
Wonderful. Prima, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your knowledge. And I really love how you jumped in and just created such a wonderful business out of absolutely nothing. I mean, other than the need to help your mother through her health crisis. But you jumped in and did something that you didn't know you could do, and you've turned it into something wonderful. So if you want to reach out to Prima, you can find her at Prima Jope. It's primajope.com, and you can find her free resources there on her website. And you can also find her on Facebook at Prima Jope. So please do reach out to Prima. I'm sure she'd be wanting to hear from you, and I'm sure that she would like to help you on your journey to becoming the best coach that you can be. Prima, if you were to give someone any advice on any topic, it doesn't have to be business related, what would that be?
I will end with a quick story, and that's the story of how I met my husband, Matt. I met my husband on Facebook, believe it or not. We've been together for 2 years, married for 1 year, and he is such an amazing soul with a heart of gold. My perfect person on paper, just in real life, 100 times better. The lesson I want to draw from that is you really never know who is watching. I recall before I met Matt, I shared my story online. And that was a story of how at one point I couldn't afford toilet paper. At one point, I was so broke, it was not even funny. I went in the supermarket and looked around for over 30 minutes, and I was looking for the cheapest toilet paper. Like, that's how bad it was. And I recall sharing this story on social media and going, do you know what, you guys, you don't need filters. You don't need to be the coolest thing. You don't need to be crushing it for people to pay attention. You can show up and share your story. And I shared that story. And I said, you never know who is at the moment when they need to hear this story. Don't worry about the filters. Don't worry about the makeup. Don't worry about nothing. Just show up as you are and share your story. Because I have already seen people inspired by these stories. My husband was online. He saw the post and he was like, is there a human being on this planet who can share such a story? It's like, I'm very curious with this person. He followed me up. 3 months later, he was in Uganda and he's not left. A year later, he was married to me and he's never left. And it's the best thing that has ever happened in my life. And so what I am trying to say here is just come as you are. No filters needed. No, you don't have to make up nothing. Come as you are, share your story, connect with people, and you will be surprised who shows up. Sometimes really can't control anything other than we show up, we be who we are, we offer to help people, we share our stories, and let the world self-select who is for us and who is not for us. Your tribe is waiting on you, but until you drop the filters and the mask and everything that you're trying to show up as, they're not going to see you. Sometimes people need you without the coolness, without the fancy stuff, without the lashes and without the makeup. Sometimes that's what people need. And I know it takes courage to bring that up, but I would love for people to know that it is okay to be where you are, as you are, with no makeup. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that. I do totally. Prima, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on Talking with the Experts, and continued success with your business.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure being here, and I loved myself.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.